Howdy, you studs and bums. I am so glad you asked. So, we get this question a lot of, have you ever been kicked out of a stadium? And until recently, when we got kicked out of Chase Field, I had only been kicked out of one other stadium, and that was Houston Astros. And this was before we ever started posting videos at all. It was before our producer Jazz started filming and Hype Man Cody was going to games with us. I just wanted to see stadiums. I like chirping, and I was doing it anyway. So, the story goes, I'm down in Texas visiting my mom. That's where she lives. And I'm just trying to check off seeing all the baseball stadiums in America. And we happen to be close by Houston. So I go, hey, Mom, let's go check out a game. She goes, great. So what I used to do is just buy the cheapest ticket at these stadiums. And what you can do is on like day of is check the seats that haven't been sold and just go sit there. It's super life hack. Don't tell anybody. So we get to the stadium. Ma and I are walking around. We grab some food, grab some drinks, and I look up on the app and I'm like, oh, there are seats available on the first base line, like a bunch of them and pretty close. Let's just go sit there. So we do. We get there and we sit behind like a family of Astros fans, and they're great. I tell them, hey, this is my first time. I'm just trying to see all the stadiums in America, and I like chirping. So what we're going to do is chirp the right fielder. And that day, the Astros are playing the Texas Rangers. It's great. It's a battle of Texas. So why not get after the Rangers? Because we only ever chirp the away team. It's just how the etiquette goes. You can't chirp the home team. So as the game starts, I yell my first chirp, and the people in front of us are stoked. I say, Garcia, I bet you like your steak well done. The security guard on the first base line immediately comes up to me and goes, hey man, you can't be using that kind of profanity. And I said, profanity? Like, I didn't know you guys took your steaks that seriously here in Texas, man. I go, okay, fine. I just won't make any more steak jokes. And the people in front of me go, oh, that's kind of weird. So my next joke is, I bet you clap when the plane lands, you bum. And again, security is on me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just telling some jokes. Is it the bum part? And he's like, we just received complaints. And I'm like, okay, that's wild. And I go, whatever. So he leaves, and the people in front of me are like, do it again. And I go, yeah, obviously. So I go again. I say some other joke, and security comes up to me a third time, dude. And he's got this little black book, and he goes, we've received complaints, and you're going against the code of conduct in the stadium. You're being, I forget what he says. You're going against the code of conduct. And by the way, this was in 2022. So it was before this even gets big, man. So I go, code of conduct, what is the problem with like chirping? He goes, I can get my supervisor if you really want to talk to somebody. And I go, full Karen. And I go, yeah, give me your supervisor. So he does. Supervisor comes down, talks to us, and he's like, let me talk to you at the top of the stairs. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I follow original security guard and supervisor to the top of the stairs. My mom comes along, and as I'm being escorted to the top of the stairs, people start cheering because they think I'm getting kicked out. And then I can see who are the people that complained or all the people that are cheering. I start blowing kisses to these people and going, hoorah! So I get to the top of the stairs, and the security supervisor says, you're going against the code of conduct. You're being detrimental to the fan experience. And I was like, detrimental? I would argue that I'm elevating the fan experience. The people in front of me are loving it. We're laughing our asses off. I don't understand the problem. And he goes, I don't really care, man. Just, I can let you go back to your seat as long as you knock it off. And at no point has anybody asked me if these are my actual seats. Our seats were like way in the upper deck somewhere. So I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll knock it off. I wasn't going to knock it off. So Ma and I go take a lap. We grab another drink. We grab some food. And I'm thinking like, this is so bizarre that these people don't like chirping in the stadium. So we wander past somebody that works there. And I go, yo, is it not like cool to heckle here? He goes, nah, people get super upset. And I'm like, that's wild because this is a part of baseball and always has been. So I'm like, Ma, I think I'm going to go back. And she goes, I'm going to go to the hotel. You do whatever you need to do. And the hotel we're staying at happens to be across the street. So I go, great. I walk back down to the seats, and the people in front of me are stoked, dude. They're like, oh my God, you're back. We thought you got thrown out. We're so excited. Please do more. I go, absolutely. So it's like the 8th inning or 7th inning at this point, and I don't really have a horse in this race. So I'm like, here's what's going to happen. And I explained it to these people. What we're going to do is the he's a bum chant that they do in San Francisco. I'm going to say, what's the matter with Garcia? And you guys are going to say, he's a bum. Then I'm going to tell one more joke, and that security guard on the first base line is going to come escort me out of here. And they're like, bet, let's go. So we do the chant, what's the matter with Garcia? He's a bum. And I go, Garcia, I bet you drive a Prius and you like to double park it. You bum. Immediately, security talks into his freaking collar. He's back and starts heading towards me. So I go, that's my time, everybody. He's coming to get me. You've been great. I turned to the people behind me that were cheering when they thought I got kicked out. I go, you guys stink. I'm out of here. I'll never be back. And I start to leave the stadium. As I'm walking out, I run into 2 guys that happen to be in the section, and they recognize the shirt because it's pretty iconic at this point. And they go, dude, you were the guy that was yelling at Garcia. What did he do? And I go, nothing. He just happened to be standing there. So yeah, that was the first time I ever got kicked out of a stadium. And I mean, these are just silly nonsense jokes. I'm describing a person that nobody likes. It's anything that has ever bothered me about a human being. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And we're going to keep chirping as long as we can. You bums.